I would say that the most important issue right now is jobs and growth. And if we get jobs back and they are good wages and the economy is growing, much of the rest will take care of itself. Now is not the time to worry about the budget deficit. Now is not the time to play partisan games about fiscal cliffs and debt ceilings. Now is the time to get on with the hard work of getting the country back on the economic track.
Now, your film Inequality for All, did you find while making the movie that what's happening right now, this is the result of decisions that were made decades ago? If we could turn back the hands of time, are there certain decisions and certain choices that you wish that we didn't make or that we could have done differently?
Well, from my point of view, again, not knowing this before I started making the movie, the fascinating thing was that as globalization and technological change was happening in the 70s and 80s. And I remember as a kid hearing the word outsourcing and sort of factories closing down. As these changes were happening to the economy, I wish we would have done more to adjust for that. And Bob talks about that in his book. But reading it, I really have this sense that there are these massive changes happening to the economy. They've been happening for 35 or 40 years. The film tries to take a big angle view on what happened, but I wish we would have been aware of those things while they were happening so we could have responded better. And I hope now it's not too late and that we can watch this movie and talk about this topic in a different way and maybe address some of those problems that have gotten worse since then today, and because I think it's critically important to our future.
And look, this is not a zero-sum game in which the middle class and the poor only do better if the wealthy do worse. No, this is a positive-sum game. The wealthy in this country would do better with a smaller share of a rapidly growing economy in which there's less divisiveness and less gridlock than they do now with a very large share of an economy that is basically anemic. It's growing so slowly and which people are angry and many people are desperate. And that is something that they need to understand. This is very basic to this film.
Any quick tips for the average Joe and Jane out there that are having a tough time?
Well, one thing that comes through the movie, I hope very clearly, is that they are not alone. People tend to feel like, oh my gosh, it's my fault, I'm working hard, I'm not getting ahead, and they take it all as if they've done something wrong. What they have to understand is that they're not alone. There are millions and millions and millions of Americans just like them, and that the system itself is not functioning in a way that it used to function and that it could function in the future in terms of widening the circle of prosperity, making sure that we all get ahead.
I hope that they understand this problem differently, and specifically as it relates to cynicism, because when I talk to people all around the country about this film, they had sort of this sense that the rich have always been getting richer and the poor have always been getting screwed, and that's just the way it goes. And I think the perspective of this film is that we're at a unique moment right now, and the moment is our economic divide is wider than it's been at any time in living memory, and that's not business as usual. This isn't just the same old story that we're finally calling attention to. It's not the same thing that you've been hearing for forever. This is sort of a unique moment, and I hope people understand that, because I think it'll motivate them to change. So.
And one other thought, I mean, the magic and genius of what Jake has done is to make this not only accessible, but fun. This is an entertaining movie. This is not come and eat your spinach and learn something. People are going to be touched and moved, hopefully. They're going to laugh, and maybe audiences here have cried. But this is, it's an important movie, but also an entertaining movie.
Yeah, I wanted to say, my background's in narrative films, and the first and foremost, I want them to be fun. I never go to see a movie because I should. I want to go because it'll be entertaining and a fun thing for me to do. So even though you throw around economic inequality and the economy and those words that maybe don't sound as fun as other movies you might have the option to see, this movie is fun, and I hope you laugh and I have a good time watching it.
It's edutaining. Inequality for All. You should check it out. To learn more about it and what's going on at Sundance, you can visit genConnect.